All right. So I'm your speaker for this session, Dr. Booma. I'm a GenAI expert and contributing as a manager for data and AI practice at Avanad, Malaysia. I'm a seasoned technologist with over a decade of experience in data science. And, I have been internationally held for my contribution towards GenAI solutions and has been honored with titles such as Young Women Scientist by Himson Awards and Outstanding Researcher, and as also as an academician by Women Icon Award. Beyond my professional achievements, I'm a prolific writer, I could say, and I used to share my insights on AI. You can find me in various events as a speaker and also as a panelist. Alongside, I'm also a dedicated mentor who used to contribute in various mentorship programs such as Code Without Barrier, especially hosted by Microsoft, right? Yeah, this is a brief intro about me. And yeah, I would like to welcome you all to this session, which is basically on empowering conversation, harnessing the potential of Azure OpenAI for custom chatbot development. Alongside, I should say, welcome to the journey of innovation and empowerment. Right, let me take you to the next thing. So currently we are living in exciting times, right? Aren't we? So it's all because we are on the edge of tech revolution in how we interact with digital systems, and all thanks to the leaps and bounds in AI. So let me start with the agenda here. I'm Fiol today dive into Azure OpenAI with you today. So in this session, we are going to take a deep dive into building custom chatbots using the powerful Azure OpenAI platform. I'll be talking about end-to-end workflow here, from the initial step of data preparation and to the nitty-gritty of fine-tuning LLMs, so called as large language models, and of course, also going to showcase a relevant demo to bring it all to life, right? So whether, despite of your expertise, whether you're a developer who loves to code, or you might be a data scientist who's all about looking into the data, or a business strategist looking to innovate, I suppose today's session would equip you with a knowledge, to fully unlock the capabilities of Azure OpenAI in your chatbot developments, right? So hope you all are ready to turn potential into action and ideas into reality. So let me go this and make the show on the road. Right. So picture this, right? Um, Back in days, way back in 1950s, some briny people started tinkering with the idea of artificial intelligence. So we all are right here. AI is not something invented in 2020s or 2000s. AI has been around longer than you might think. It's like they had this light bulb moment where they thought, the briny people thought, hey, what if we could make machines think like humans? So there were the term and the concept artificial intelligence rise. And then fast forward to 1980s and 1990s, and that's when machine learning really started to take off. The people were getting serious about teaching computers to learn from data and make decisions on their own. So it was like a bit like teaching a kid to ride a bike. Lots of trials and errors, when we deal with machine learnings, but eventually they got the hang of it. So that's beauty of machine learning, I could say. And coming to deep learning, though that's a bit more recent, we are talking about the early 20s, right? Well, when researchers started diving deep into neural networks, they realized these things could do something seriously cool stuff, like crunching through huge piles of data and finding hidden patterns inside the data. It was like unlocking the whole new level of brain power into computers. That's again, one of the beauty of deep learning, I should say, where like similar to machine learning. And yeah, latest and the greatest is our GenAI. That's a bit of a newcomer to the scene. That's quite familiar among all of us nowadays because it's buzzing everywhere, right? GenAI, artificial intelligence. So it's only been the last decade or so that we have really started to see the potential of using AI to get, creative, especially using LLM model along with RAG. RAG, it's called as. So I'll be talking about LLM and the RAG in upcoming slide. So when we talk about GenAI, we can't miss out on a buzz surrounding these super changed large language models. Yeah. So this is all about the how we got into GenAI, and yeah. So take this one of the OpenAI model, which is also available in our Azure platform. It's a ChatGPT 3.5, for instance. It's the talk of the town, not only in AI community, all over, all the tech community. It's for, again, a good reason, right? So what's the deal with GPT 3.5 is like having a super smart AI buddy who's always with words. So this guy is trained on a mind-boggling amount of text from all across the internet. So it got this vast treasure of knowledge at its virtual fingertips. And the best part with GPT 3.5 is it can use all the brain power to generate all sort of stuff like articles. So it will start from the articles and story writing, stories to the code, and even poetry. Right. But here's where the things get really interesting when it comes to GPT 3.5. Isn't it isn't just restating the information, or it is not copying the information what it is having. It's actually having the capability to understand the context with the help of natural language processing and coming up with responses that are well, kind of spooky in their accuracy. So it's not a hallucinated result or something by its own understanding, right? That is what called as a hallucinated result. So it's like having conversation with a real human, except your chat partner happens to be here a cutting edge artificial intelligence. So that's the case here. And moving to GPT 3.5 applications, it's an endless thing. So from helping people write better emails and essays to powering chatbots, virtual assistant, this thing is a game changer, I should say here. Invention of this OpenAI models, various OpenAI models, not only with the GPT 3.5 or 4. It's a purely a game changer. It's like having a whole team of writers, researchers, and problem solvers rolled into one sleek package. And followed by that one more recent excited OpenAI model, which also Azure platform brought into its show, is GPT-4. So I will not say it's the newest hotspot from OpenAI, but though one of the latest known for its human-like text generation. It's really very impressive, responsible as well. If you have played with GPT-4, either through ChatGPT or Azure OpenAI services, you would have seen what it can do. We are, talking about a model that's not just smart, but downright genius. It's so with even a larger data set and more sophisticated models, GPT-4, we can call it as a GPT 3.5 on steroids. What I'm coming to tell is it's faster, smarter, and more adaptive in nature because it's having, again, a well-defined understanding into the context what we are trying to grab from it. So making it an even more invaluable tool for everything from writing and coding to virtual assistant, as I said, for GPT 3.5, right? And it is also creative content, the way it generates, right? So, and moving forward, we also have multiple models in OpenAI, and where Azure got adopted to it. So it's not stopped with GPT 3.5 or 4. We have DALI model, which can generate images from the text in the form of prompt, and we have Whisper and Preview model, which is helping us to translate the model from one language into another language, and we do have embedding to handle token sizing when we are dealing with the OpenAI models. So we have plenty of things. So we have a lot more to hear and learn about Gen AI. It's not within. It's really very hard to cover in in one slide or one session, because it's like an ocean, right? So it's a brave new world out there, and with all these OpenAI inventions like this leading the charge, we all should agree that possibilities are truly endless with each and every OpenAI models and each and every AI capabilities, right? So when we talk about Azure AI, the platform, we are all, most of us are very clear that it is pumped to integrate many innovations, many AI innovations into product, which actually become a natural part of your day, whether that's in productive tool or it might be search engine or even a low code, no code tools. You would have also heard of the application. It's a Power BI application, which is especially designed for analytics and visualization. And there is one more low code, no code tool called as Power Apps, again powered with AI Builder recently. So we have multiple tools inside Azure OpenAI platforms, and it brings the latest OpenAI into service. That's all about making I should say like application development, which is accessible to us. And all of these, or when we are talking about OpenAI models, all of these are built on Azure machine learning, and which is actually inside the Microsoft, and it is a heavyweight AI platform that bring all these innovation to life. So we all know Azure OpenAI. It's a Microsoft platform, and it's tailored to Marshall in OpenAI research, which is equipped with the enterprise level of security, all about the robust privacy standards you expect in the cloud, right? So all the Azure OpenAI models, apart from what I have mentioned in the slide, we have Llama 2 models in various size. We have meta model, additional meta models as well. So are much more straightforward now with the support of prompting. And the things you can create are just, it's beyond, our imagination, just phenomenal, I should say. And yeah, with that, let me move on to the next thing about Azure AI Studio. Yep, this is another exciting, right? And let me walk you through this and show you the magic what this Azure OpenAI Studio is doing with inside the chat completion. So it's like a playground. It's a fantastic tool that lets you interact with available AI models in a dynamic and spontaneous way. So let me take you to another window. I'll be sharing the demo window with you all. Right. So I'm here in Azure OpenAI Studio chat completion. So first off, let me talk about what is this AI Studio playground is all about, right? So it's a place where you can experiment with AI models. You can start adjusting the parameters and see the results in real time. So it's like having a sandbox where you can build and reshape your AI models just the way you want. Right? Let me just showcase you. Right. So you can see multiple options here. And straight away, just I would like you to just imagine where you're in a playground right now. And on the screen, you can see the text box here where you can type your prompt. Prompt is nothing but a normal instruction, what you would like to instruct to the OpenAI model. So this is where you will tell clearly the AI model what you want to do and what you are expecting. Let's say like what is the response type you are looking for in a summarized way, or if you are looking for a very short a response from it or a lengthy response with just 250 words or in an essay format. So you can instruct everything in a prompt. Okay, so once you have typed in, so here it's already available here. When you move on to the chat, default system message in a form of prompt, it is already available. But if you would like to select a default template, you're having multiple options, right? So I'm not a gaming person, but let me just move on to this Xbox customer support agent to show you that how the prompt gets changed according to our requirement, right? So here's my system generated prompt. But if you would like to add your own prompting along with the system generated message or your own complete end-to-end prompt, yeah, you can do it. So this is what the prompting was given to the OpenAI model. And once you have typed in the prompt, it's time to play around with the parameters, right? We have in the right hand side, you are having a parameters and you have multiple options of the parameters. So these are like a dials and switches that controls how the AI responds to you. You can adjust the temperature. So here's the temperature set to 0 by default, but you can adjust the temperature, right? Which controls the randomness of the AI response. So higher temperature means more random responses. While if you're setting a lower temperature, it makes the AI more focused and deterministic. So let me just set it to 0 0.5, or yeah, let me set it to 0 0.5, a moderate one, right? And you can also tweak the maximum token parameters here, right? Which controls the length of your response generated by AI. So one short and sweet answer, then you can lower the maximum token size. Looking for a very detailed essay, as I said, you have a control over your responses, right? So you can crack that number up. You can crack it here. Right? It's all depends on, again, your requirement, right? So once you have adjusted all the parameters as you wish, and then now it's all set. The AI generates a response based on your prompt and parameters. So it's like watching a magic trick here. Now, you can start typing. You're all set to go. And now we can start typing hold on. I will start typing the question here. My mouse is not pointing out to the right position. Right. So I'm shooting at the question like, what is the latest Xbox console available in the market, and see whether it's ready to answer. I shoot this question based on the parameters and the prompt, what I have passed to my AI model, it came up with the result. So the latest Xbox console available in the market is it gave some a response to us, right? So it's all about, it's like, again, as I said, it's like watching a magic trick, but the magician here is artificial intelligence, the OpenAI model, and the magic is a cutting edge technology again. So the best part here, you can do this over and over again. You can tweak the parameters over and over again, trying with different prompts, and you can explore the capabilities of AI when you start to tweak the parameters and prompt again and again. So it's like a playground after all. So that's a quick tour of Azure OpenAI Studio of Chat Completion. So again, it's a powerful tool provided by Azure, so which has the power of AI at its fingertip. So whether you're an AI pro or just you're a beginner to this field, it doesn't matter. You're having this, so you have fun, and this is very interactive way to learn, experiment, and create. So after my session, you have another session in this event. So once after completing all the session, I would like to suggest you to go ahead, jump into this AI studio, start playing around, start exploring it. Right. So let me circle back to my slide, and will take you to what happens when you're planning to use your own data. So far, what I have showcased with you is about the predefined data. I haven't included my own data. That is a predefined data. But when you're in a plan to use your own enterprise data, what you should be focused on is the challenge, what you might face with the OpenAI model, right? So the one major challenge what you will face is token sizing, and how you can resolve this by using the conventional solution. And it can be done by vector database, which I will be speaking in the next slide. So the challenge, what I'm stating here when you're dealing with the data is the token sizing. So you should be very mindful about the token for each and every model, because the sizing of the model capacity varies for ChatGPT 3.5, 3.5 Turbo, or GPT-4 or Llama 2 models. So it varies with its token sizing. So we have to be very concerned when we are picking the model and the token sizing, or if it's wherever it is necessary, you can utilize the solution with the help of vector database. Right. So back to our GenAI. I'm showcasing here the end-to-end workflow to make us clear what is happening, right? So you can see in the architecture, it's a very high level architecture. The front end one, so front end is nothing but our UI, the chatbot or some application powered by artificial intelligence, right? And let's say this is a chatbot powered by artificial intelligence or Gen AI, right? So when I'm a user, I'm shooting up some question in my bot, in my chatbot. So this is my front end. This is the only thing I'm aware of. But what is happening in behind the scene? That is where the backend API server comes in to the play, right? So we'll be having multiple process running behind the question what user is providing, right? And how this all are getting function together is we'll be hosting a API server which will try to integrate according to the request what the front end is looking for. So if the front end is looking for LLM model to generate the response, then it will start integrating and fetching response using the LLM model. Alongside, if it is also looking for some business logics, right, it will also try to integrate the business logic with the help of the API server, and few more things. Again, it all depends on how we are looking for and what is our requirement, right? So this is like, I would like to just give you a glimpse about how all it works, how all the Gen AI in a high level it works. And then let me take you to the large language model architecture here, right? So, integrating these big guys, meaning your own document. So it's not going to be very small, right? It might be multiple PDF files or a huge amount of images. It could be, right? So when you're dealing with this kind of huge data, it can be a bit of a head scratcher when you're crafting new AI tools. But guess what? Here we have one, beautiful approach that's been making waves lately. It's called as retrieval augmented generation, RAG. Sounds cool, right? So RAG. You can call it as RAG or RAG. So what's this RAG is doing here? What's the RAG or RAG is all about is it's like having a language model, and external knowledge source, that is using orchestrated layer to manage how these two interact with each other and your application, how these are all getting interacted with your application. So it's like conducting a AI masterpiece. So now you might be thinking, like, what is our role here? Like, this is an LLM architecture. So being a human or being an AI engineer or being an AI person, what would be my role here in the end-to-end workflow? You could be the architecture of your own setup. Maybe you will create your own version of Copilot or design a user experience where like you're the boss of your architecture. So you could use a orchestrated based on tech that Dom just introduced, or maybe something like LangChain or semantic kernel to tie everything together. When we talk about artificial intelligence, it's very clear. It's very clear that sky is the limit. So yeah, so these again, back to the LLM discussion, the secret sauce here is the external knowledge base we use. External knowledge base is nothing but our own data. So we are not just leaning on models built in knowledge, because all LLM models had been pre-trained with other data, not with our data, right? It has been pre-trained with something else. If, let's say, like, I'm planning a use case, something relevant to financial institution, but my model, what I'm targeting, the AI model, if that is not trained with financial data, it doesn't matter. What I can do is I can feed in my own um, documents, financial documents, and then I can start you know uh, feeding it and proceed with some further steps to make the OpenAI model to do what we are looking for. So this is external knowledge we need to be, we are looking to be, in the way of searchable or capable of fishing out relevant info from a sea of data, what we have provided based on just an unstructured query passed by the user, passed by the user or the customer or some sales guy, right? So much like a search engine do. And you know what? When it comes to search method, we are very familiar with our old school techniques, right? Like keyword searches, it still rocks. But there's also a growing buzz around using vector embedding. So here, where I would like to share with you about the solution, the vector database, right? So which is used to hold the vector embedding for the retrieval process. This is all about creating a model that gets semantic similarities. Training it so that similar meaning or neighbors in a high dimensional vector space. You can use tech like Azure OpenAI Embeddings API or open source model for this. So it's very, for even for the beginners, this architecture could help you to understand what is going behind the scene within the LLM models, right? So here you can see first we are trying to feed in all our own document. And then this is something called as a document chunk. If you're not clear about what is document chunking is, this is a place where we will be splitting or dividing our document into some smaller pieces. We'll be splitting the document into, let's say, if I'm handling a 50 pages of a PDF document, I will start it to divide it into some smaller pieces, might be in a paragraph chunk or sentence chunk, page-wise chunking. So it depends on what I'm looking for, right? So I can do that. And what is the purpose behind document chunking is to handle again the tokens, right? When we are dealing with the OpenAI model, as I said earlier, we should be very concerned about the tokens, right? So we'll be moving forward with the document chunk, and then followed by we'll be embedding the chunks. So embedding is nothing but a value converting our text into some machine understandable values here. So this will be done by OpenAI, Azure OpenAI embedding models, or it could be open source as well. So it will perform the conversions of text to values, and once after it happened, it will be moved to the vector database. So now vector database, as I said earlier, it is like a storage which used to store the vector embeddings, right? And when you look at the bottom part, you can see the user query. User is shooting up a query, and again, it is also being moved to the embedding part. So what we are doing here is, it is a text format. It might be in some unstructured format, right? Again, we are converting the unstructured into embedding. So this conversion makes the OpenAI model to perform the similarity search in a easier way. So now the human searched question and the document where it's supposed to fetch the response, both are in an embedding format. So it is easy for the OpenAI model to search the similar performed values. Okay, so vector database or vector embedding models, it has its inbuilt similarity search options, and it will help to fetch the relevant information from our document. So once done, again it will be given to the next place, that is called as again a document chunk, because it will come up with uh, multiple documents, because the word what I'm searching for or the question what I'm searching for might be in multiple PDF files, right? So it is not going to be in only one file or one paragraph alone. It could be in different or various files or in various pages. So all those will be collected and kept it inside inside the document chunk in a bottom part. And here where beauty of prompt appears. So what we are doing here with the prompt is, we are again instructing the model what it should do. So I'm expecting only the summarized response. I'm not looking for multiple pages of PDF, right? I'm just looking for just 20 words response. So if I'm instructing through the prompt, OpenAI model could understand, and it will give me the response with just a 20 word summarized response. And when we talk about prompt, again, it is another ocean. We have multiple ways to provide the prompt to the OpenAI model, but here I'm just giving you the glimpse of what we can do with the help of the prompt, right? So this is, in practice, this means encoding or vectorizing your content as you ingest it, then doing the same for queries to compare them effectively. So then there's a vector indexing, right, where you index all this content and quickly find the nearest value or similarity search, and where the query comes in. So for large data set, what I'm coming to say is, exhaustive comparison aren't practical, right? So we use this kind of technique, which is appropriate to fetch the relevant response with the inbuilt search capabilities, right? Yeah. And yeah, I'm taking you to the Azure OpenAI services, how we could implement this and how it looks like when we implement the same LLM architecture inside Azure OpenAI services with rack. This is how it looks like. And here is, I will always call this part, like Azure AI search. I will call this as a cherry on top. Azure AI search is because this allows for pure vector-based search or hybrid approach that mix keywords and produce the best result. It even integrate re-ranking system um, used by our recent time search engines, a Bing, to refine these results further. So with all these tools, whatever mentioned here in the architecture, right, you can see the app UX, which is used to build the interactive UI, and with the help of orchestrated multiple API servers, you will get connected to Azure services. So you can connect it with Azure AI services, which will talk with your data and which will make your data ready for for your process. And then Here comes the Azure OpenAI model, which has the capability to pull in the necessary information and do the necessary process with the help of prompting and give back to us to our UI as what we are expecting. So this is the overall architecture, and here let me stop sharing the slide and take you through the next level of the one more demo session. Right. So yeah. So this is another demo what I would like to showcase in this session to you all to to make us explore what what GenAI is performing with our own data. So this one is with our own data. We can do it, and here you can see this has been developed by GPT 3.5 turbo version, and we have an inbuilt data here, meaning our own data. We can also ingest, and the data ingested here is all about the Northwind Health Plus plan, right? And this is coming up with some default question. This is a static question. If you would like to change the static question, yeah, we can go ahead and we can populate our own question, something related to our data. You have this developer setting where again you will get a sense. This is a already built model, and you can see the beautiful application here in front of our eye. But still, we have again a control over our hands to play around the parameters as what we have discussed in the OpenAI Studio, right? So here we have a temperature to play around. You can set it as how you wish, and if you would like to set your own prompt to play around this UI, yeah, you can go ahead and you can provide it, and you can just same thing. You can just play around the values here, and you can pick whichever option you would like to pick. Like here, I just pick the semantic ranker for a travel option, or if you would like to change even the model with the vision capacity, yeah, we can do that. But again, would like to highlight here, this is a this was like inbuilt inside the program. If you are not providing this facility inside your backend program, you you cannot see this these options in your UI part. Since it has been developed and instructed to showcase all these things in our UI, you can able to view all these options in our front end, right? All right. Let me close this, and then I'll tell you how it's functioning. So if I'm clicking on a static question, it will take some time, and it will use all the natural language processing model to fetch the response from the backend, having a knowledge base which holds the detail about Northwind helpers, and here implemented the page-wise chunking, not a paragraph-wise chunking or sentence-wise chunking. So here I have used a page-wise chunking, and where it is using to fetch the information. So along with the information, what it fetched, I have also instructed through the prompt to give back the citation for my reference, like from where the response been extracted. So it is coming up with a document. So now currently it is fetching only with one document, and it is also giving me from which page number the response got fetched. So this is how I have instructed my OpenAI model through the prompt. All right. And let's say like if I'm shooting up some dynamic questions, right? Where I can ask for, here is this all about, let me ask what are all the key benefits, what are all the key benefits of not when health plus plan. Let me ask and see how well it responds to me. Sorry for the typo error. So even you can work around to reduce the response time. If you're just looking for you know some improved response time, you can work on it, and you can try to fine tune your prompting, like how the way it should retrieve. You can work on RAG model also to improve the response time. So now it came up with a response, and you can see now we get two citations. So it all depends on the documents it is referring to. So it is not referring to only one document. It is clear that it is referring to multiple documents. So we have ingested multiple documents as our external knowledge base here. And it came up with this kind of response. So if I'm shooting up another question, like just not when, let me ask about some renewal bonus, how well it responds, can see. And sometimes you can also get some hallucinated responses. So we have to be very mindful about the hallucinated response as well. So before deploying your model, make sure you're controlling the hallucination. So the question is all about, does the Northwind health plan offers any renewal bonus? So when it is not available, so this is how I have instructed my OpenAI model to give response. There is no information available about the question what I have asked. So it is not thinking by its own and coming up with its own answer, right? It is straight away populating the response stating that there is no information available about the renewal bonus of this particular plan. Um, in the knowledge base, what I have provided to the OpenAI model. So this is how you can control the hallucination, right? Hope you got a chance to explore this demo session. So I'll pass it here. If you have any question to be clarified, I'm more than happy enough to clarify before moving on to our presentation slide.
Dr. Booma, there are a couple of questions in the chat, like what is RAG here, and then what is orchestrator? I guess you just explained about RAG, but if you just want to uh, have some more details, or maybe just talk about what is orchestrator.
Yeah, sure. Be happy. Okay, so RAG is like where the place. Let me take you to this architecture, which will clearly explain us. So this retrieval process, RAG is nothing but the place where we are trying to fine tune the retrieval process. When I'm using just the LLM model, when I'm trying to retrieve the response for the user question from the vector database, I might face some discrepancy in the accuracy or sometimes in the response time also. So when I'm using this RAG here, it will improve the accuracy. It will improve the way how my model is retrieving the data from vector database. Let's say, just for example, just assume like I'm asking a question, what is OpenAI? What is OpenAI? This is what the question the user is giving to OpenAI model. And this model is now converting the question into embedding, and it is moving to the vector database for searching the relevant information, relevant embedding values, right? So when it is collecting the embedding value, it will collect some multiple relevant values by using the similarity search. And when I don't have RAG in between the user and the vector database, I will straight away get some lengthy response. Sometimes it might be irrelevant to the response, or sometimes we will not have enough patience to read a very lengthy passage, right? We will be sometimes looking for just a short answer to understand what is OpenAI. Yeah, come on, this is what the response is, right? So you can when you are using RAG, you can make it possible. You can make this retrieval as you are expecting. Hope I answered the question here, right? So basically here where basically this is a part where we are implementing RAG. The RAG what it is doing is it is trying to retrieve multiple relevant values, and finally, with the help of prompt, it is trying to reduce the number of documents. I'm not looking for multiple documents, right? Or I'm not looking for paragraph or some 2-page response. I'm just looking for very short response, and I can do that possible with a RAG here. And that is the reason why we are getting some summarized response. Right, let me move back to the next question. I'm opening the chat. Right, and answer to the next question, what is orchestrator layer? Orchestrator layer is a backend process. So this is what the orchestrator layer I mean here, the complete, the backend process, whatever services you are using. So for our requirement, it varies, right? So I'm using LLM model here, or if I have some business logic, each and every business logic, it varies, right? So I'll be using the business logic based on the domain, or if I'm looking for some additional um, services, I'll be including those services as well. So this is what called as orchestrator layer. So by using the orchestrator layer, I can make this RAG process to perform in a smoother way. Prabhav, I think I have answered your question for the orchestrator layer. I'm moving on to the next slide. Yeah, so let me also once again, before wrapping up our session, let me um, showcase this architecture again, and I'll compare the demo what I have showcased now to let you know how everything is performing here. So when we come to this UI, the user is, I have typed the question about the renewal process. So here where it will act, and it has been passed to the orchestrator layer, meaning that the backend service. This is the orchestrator layer. So when my question hit the orchestrator layer, the orchestrator layer has whole control and decide to which service it should pass. So what is the next step? After receiving the question, this orchestrator layer is having the whole control to take over and forward the next step. So now the next step is straight away into our cherry top, right? The Azure AI search, because here where it is having my data to get the information. So what it will do is it will take my question, and it will move to the Azure AI search where it is having a vector database, where it is having a embedded value. Now what will happen is it will come again with the responses for my question, and what it will do before sending back to the user, it is getting a help of now orchestrator layer will decide the next step it should reach Azure OpenAI model and the prompt, to summarize summarize the response fetched by Azure AI search, right? So this is what is happening here with the help of orchestrator. And once everything was done, orchestrator layer, now it will decide, yeah, come on, this is what the expected response. So internal validation process, everything will be completed. And finally, it will, the orchestrator layer will pass the response, and it will get displayed to us. So this is what happening. And, behind the scene, um, we are also very clear that apart from all these things, there is a main hero behind this, that is our natural language processing, because we are completely now handling with the text data, right, in the demo. So natural language processing is also playing a major role. So like identifying the keywords, identifying the metadata, comparing the similar data. So this is what is happening behind the scene. I got another question. What will be there in vector database? So in vector database, it will hold, so basically, Let me go back to the, so vector database will hold all the embedding values. As I said earlier, embedding value is just here we will be having a text. So when I'm passing a question, what is the renewal process? You can see it is in a text format, so which is not easily understandable for machines, right, or OpenAI models. So so it is a best practice to always convert the text into numerical numbers, and this embedding will help to do that. So it is converting the text into some numerical values, which is understandable by the machine or by the OpenAI model. So vector database, basically, it will hold all the embedding values of both our data and the question. So whenever it is storing the embedding values, right, each and every value has its own index. Index is nothing but the tag, right? When I'm passing the embedding, each and everything will have some reference unique ID. That is what called as index or tag. Okay. So, and hope I answered the question of Vidya. And one more question I got is about any specific reason why we are using vector database. Yes, it's because vector database will help us to have a control over tokens. We can ring fence the token sizing here. That's the main reason behind using vector database, because without using the vector database, it's very challenging for us to hold and make it possible the similarity search. Since we have a pre-built model, we are it's always highly recommended to use the vector database. Yeah, I've got another question as well. Do LLM model always needs to work on numerical values, or do they not understand? Yeah, LLM model, yes, obviously it should work with numerical value despite of text or image, audio, video, everything. We should chunk it, convert it into some value, numerical value, and then pass it. Though it's having a, though it's though it's having a helping hand of natural language processing, it needs to be converted into numerical values. Right then. Hope I have answered all the question in the chat box. So let me move on, and any specific. Yeah, right. Okay. Let me move on to our takeaway here. So a quick rundown, right? I have discussed about most of the OpenAI models, especially the recent one, GPT-4, which is our latest model, which is known for human-like text generation. And we have also discussed about AI use cases, which is used in search or writing some blogs, drafting an email, and chatbot creation, the Q&A interactions. And we have also discussed about, and I hope I made it clear, like what is customizing model, right? Azure OpenAI allows model customization with your own data. This is what we have discussed now. That too, it happened with the help of RAG, a method that separates the language model from an external knowledge source. So that is what the beauty of retrieval augmented generation. And last but not the least, is all happening in the name of generative AI. This has a massive potential in natural language processing. So yeah, I always will say it's really a beautiful game changer. So that's the lowdown on some of the key takeaway in the world of artificial intelligence, right? So yeah, so here, what I would like to conclude is the future of artificial intelligence is not just promising, but also immensely vast. So the horizontal of artificial intelligence expands with every passing day, and it is up to us to, seize these opportunities and harness its potential to drive positive change. And as we stand on the brink of technology revolution, I urge each one of you to embrace, AI, to learn, adopt, and grow with it. So we all should remember every tool provided by artificial intelligence we have ever built was designed to extend our capabilities and solve our problems. So artificial is no different from it's not different from those things, right? It's a tool, however, and it impacts depends on how we use those tool. And so let's use it. Let's create a better world for all of us, right? With the capability of AI, especially Gen AI. And yeah, I would like to thank for your time and your attention. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Let's continue this conversation and keep pushing and boundary of what possible with AI. Thank you all. Before I conclude, I would like to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to the organizers of this event from Pune Tech Community, Nandip, Samta, Kunt, Sindat. So their tireless efforts and dedications have made this, gathering possible, though it's virtual. And yeah, for that we all should owe them sincere thanks. Especially, I can see the seamless contribution and every definition of work I can see um, when they are organizing not this is the only event they are organizing multiple events, right? So I can see the um, seamless contribution, what they are contributing, how they are keen about their focus. It's all splendid. So it's their hard work behind the scenes that has allowed all us to come together and engage in this meaningful discussion of artificial intelligence. So on behalf of all the audience here, I would like to say a big thank you um, to the event organizers. Thank you, guys.